It's a new year, and with T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are. It's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right, the iPhone 12 on us on every plan. All on America's 5G leader in coverage. T-Mobile.
24 monthly bill credits and a new line plus tax. If you cancel, credit stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.
It's a new year, and with T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are. It's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right, the iPhone 12 on us on every plan. All on America's 5G leader in coverage. T-Mobile.
With 24 monthly bill credits and a new line plus tax. If you cancel, credit stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
Here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
It's 183. Chris.
I'm Rob. I'm Aaron. I just silenced my phone, my iPhone.
Oh,
what?
When did you get an iPhone?
Traitor! I'm sorry, Rob. Traitor!
Oh.
I'm sorry.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
Yep.
That's how it started with me.
Oh, I know.
Well, you already had the iPad.
I've had iPads, I've had iPods, but now, it's very much more likely now that I'm going to buy a Mac computer when I need a new laptop. When this tank of a Toshiba that's been, I don't know, God, how long have I had this thing now? Like 5 years? And I've had no problems with it. But eventually it's going to die, and I think I'm stuck now. Stuck? I don't know. At first, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like navigating it. But it was because I was so used to Android, the way it was laid out. And
is that the Plus?
This is the Plus, yes. So this is an 8, so it's got the glass back.
Ooh.
Nice. Right. Eventually, I'll be able to charge this wirelessly really fast. Nice. Like I can charge it wirelessly. You have to buy it separately, though. And you have to buy it does fast charging, but you have to buy a separate fast charger.
That's weird.
Like, you charge enough money for these things. Like,
yeah, it should come with one.
I'm telling you, dude, the AirPods are worth every fucking bit of money.
I'm curious because it comes with the headphones that connect to the Lightning port, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have the same shape as the AirPods.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that the AirPods have more weight to them and they're balanced better.
Yes.
Because I don't like the fit of those headphones. I like the position. Sound quality wise, they're really good. Even the ones that come, just the ones that come for free with the iPhone, it's actually pretty, like, far better than what they used to come with.
Oh yeah,
and they're comfortable. They just don't stay in place. But I mean, you said that you've had no problems with them. Like
January, and I'm here in November saying that's probably the best thing Apple's come out with since the iPhone or the AirPods.
And they're not that bad price-wise when you look at other, premium wireless earpieces like that. And something that's as versatile as that handles calls as well as audio. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to. Can you wirelessly charge your case for it, or do you have to plug it in?
Plug it in.
Yeah. Do you know if it has the capability? So I think that I think they're coming out with a version of the case that you can wirelessly charge.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll never succumb to the Apple.
Never?
Never. I've tried. I had an iPad, or what do you call it? An iPod back in the day, and it had the click wheel and had the weird, I also had a touch one when they started making the touch ones, and I hated it.
Yeah.
It was, and people were like, oh, it's a lot like the phone. I'm like, okay, never mind.
Well, then I know that I don't need one of those phones.
Yeah, the OS, they call it. Yeah, that was the part that bothered me.
Well, I've never had
You're not an iOS
premium.
Guy? No,
ever since they started, the iPhone versus Samsung Galaxy wars, I've always had just like a cheap Android phone. Relatively cheap, like $100 phone. So this is the first time that I'm buying a premium phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know why I was doing it. I still don't know ultimately why I did it, other than I just wanted to have it.
Like,
I
need it.
I just got a phone. It's about the same size. It's lighter. It's made by LG. It did everything fine. I was like, I don't need, it's not like this thing is failing me in certain ways. Although everything is like amazingly more faster on this iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought it's just, pages always took a long time to load because it was a phone.
Nope.
Well, there is a difference.
Yes. That A whatever chip.
But if I was going to go ahead and pull the trigger on a nice phone, which is part of the reason is that I wanted something that I could treat myself to, because I got a raise at work and I thought that I deserve a little something,
nice.
Even if it is frivolous. And design-wise, I got the 8 Plus and not the 10.
So you still have a home button?
I do, yeah. Although it's not a button.
Yes.
Is yours like that?
Correct.
So I couldn't get my head around that for a while.
Yeah.
I was pushing it and it was making a click, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it asked me to change it. It gave me 3 options for what I like for a click, and I'm like, I don't get it. Mm-hmm. I didn't even notice a difference at first. I kept switching between the 3, and I'm like, is there a certain part where this is going to turn off the button? How does that work?
Yeah.
And then I realized I had to push it really slow and realize there was just a certain point of pressure that would make it quote unquote click.
Yeah, it's scanning your thumbprint. It ain't waiting for you to press it.
Well, no, there is a pressure sensitive aspect to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can
you
scan
double
it.
click for Apple Pay.
Right. No, I can unlock the phone with the thumbprint, but it doesn't open up or do a go to the home screen until you actually apply enough pressure to click it, which is just some little I don't know, a little tumbler in there. I'm not sure how they do the haptics on this thing, but I'm kind of addicted to it. You turn the ringer off, and it makes this just a little 2 bumps.
2 bumps.
And it gives you the slightest little nudge when you like something on Twitter or retweet it. You hit the little heart, and it's ding. You just feel one little beat. And you're like, oh, that was kind of cool.
You turn that off, though.
Oh, totally. And I used to hate it. I've always turned it off ever since I had a BlackBerry, and they had the pressure. They had the full screen pressure sensitive phone where you could do the sideways typing, but it was all just a touch screen that you would kind of push in.
That's wild.
To make it feel like you're typing.
You're the last,
a plastic screen?
But they used the vibration to add to it. Yeah. BlackBerry jumped on the full screen new phone, format pretty early on. They just didn't do it right.
Right.
Rob's the last Android standing.
But yeah, usually
I'll be.
I've always turned off the vibration while typing and everything, but the iPhone's got it so down that I'm almost ashamed as to how much I enjoy it. It gives me feel like I get a little serotonin blast in my head when I do something that it quote unquote approves of. Oh, my phone likes it. Hey, my phone's into this.
You're being what is that called?
I'm personifying it, right?
It's the phone is making you adapt to you. It's adapting to your will.
We're becoming symbiotic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Top will get you.
But I'm never going to set an alarm again by hand. That's pretty much the only thing I do with Siri.
That's the thing with the AirPods.
Yeah.
Is what I have to hold when I have to hold my phone to my head for a phone call now. I'm like, what? What is this? This is an old school way of taking a phone call.
And we've heard the results too. We've recorded it, and it sounds pretty damn good through the AirPods. Need a lighter?
Yes, please. One that works preferably. Thank you.
So now let's talk about design, because that's another reason why I bought this. And the feel of it, the weight, and just, look, it's an 8. It's nothing new design-wise. They've been doing this since the 6. And I read some reviews about it, trying to decide whether I wanted an 8 Plus or a 10.
What's the difference between the ones that you're talking about?
Well, the 10 has no button, and it does face scan to open instead of the thumbprint.
Face scan?
Yeah,
Holy
and
shit.
it's more It looks more like the Galaxies where the screen goes all the way to the edge. And they have a little notch out in the top for your camera and microphone stuff. Speaker, rather. Which, by the way, the speakers on this thing, just listening to podcasts are pretty, like, it sounds better than most, like, portable Bluetooth speakers.
Damn.
But so the design is nothing new, and so everyone's giving it a lot of like ho-hum reviews, like, oh yeah, it's a new processor and all this stuff, and that's all well and good, but it's the same old design. It looks just like the rest of them, and I can see there's definitely differences. I mean, first of all, having an all glass back is a big difference.
Right.
I don't want to put a case on it. I have an all glass phone, and I'm probably not going to. I did go with through my plan, I can get Apple Care month by month, right? So I paid $12 a month for the Apple Care plan. So I am covered. Not only does that cover me for accidental damage and stuff like that, screen replacement, whatever, but for lost or stolen, because it's through the wireless provider as well. But just the way, I don't know, Rob, you want to just check it out real quick?
I don't want to break it.
Just feel the edges of it. Like, it's very pleasing. It doesn't have the total curve of the Galaxy phone, but there's enough of a roundedness to it that it blends into the sides nicely. Flip the silent button, the one in the upper left-hand corner, the ringer off button. Turn that on and off. You feel a little nudge?
Oh, like a safety on a gun. Okay.
Yeah?
That's interesting. Yeah, I just saw that, what you were talking about. It's like an actual physical switch. It's a nice screen, too, on it. Nice phone. Yeah, it looks like it's well built. Anything I've ever seen from Apple is always looked well built. And, I mean, you go into their stores, they're amazing. It's not like I've never been into their store and looked around. I don't know. I just never wanted to jump on the bandwagon.
No, I hear you. And I'm with the major complaint is that, their stuff's just overpriced.
Yes.
Regardless of how high quality it is, you're paying for that Apple badge as well. But, when you can amortize it, you can pay monthly, and not so bad.
Well, another thing, too, that surprises a lot of people in the industry that I work in, graphic design, is that I'm not an Apple person, because Apple runs the graphic design world.
Well, they have so much influence over it. I mean,
pretty much. Yeah. Everything's all pretty much based around the Apple platform, and you have to look for PC, like options to make it work.
So now my Android's relegated to TV remote.
Yeah.
I think I can get this thing to shoot to my Chromecast, but I'm like, why even bother? I was already doing that with an older Android phone, just using it to cast Netflix and stuff to the TV. So it just sits in the. Well, I think I'm fine with that separation, though. Like, certainly you can do a lot of different things with your phone. They're built for multitasking.
I was going to say multipass.
Multipassing. Yes, honey, he knows it's a multipass.
Multipass.
Yep.
What's that?
Fifth Element with Bruce Willis and
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker, and I'm trying to think of the woman, Mila Jovovich, who pretty much makes
I'm
that
past
movie.
due for a viewing of that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's been into the double digits the number of times that I've seen it already. There's not a ton of movies that I watch multiple times.
And I want to say, too, recently they released a remastered edition of that.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Valerian.
I just saw it.
Oh, what did you think?
Very good.
Really?
And I'm a big fan of that director, though.
Okay.
But that's why.
I'm so glad now. Now I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm gonna rent it ASAP. Because
it was good.
I read so many weird-ass reviews of that movie, and I'm like, maybe they're misunderstanding something here, or maybe they're just not fans of his style. I don't know.
That's what I think it is mostly. The people that, see this movie, they're like, I don't get it because it's just so out there. And the director is very imaginative of, like what, he knows what he wants. And he's just, he's not afraid to go after it because you look at the movies that he's made and it's definitely 100% his vision. I mean, it's just a very beautiful movie. Like, everything is done well.
The other side of it is that there's criticism for, I think anytime that you're dealing with a treasured property, this is from it's based on a French
comic book, yeah.
Right. A lot of people are fans of it and treasure those comics. When you stray from that material, you get criticized, even though I think most people understand that you have to adapt certain things for it. There's a big difference between publishing multiple volumes over the course of years, sometimes decades of comic books, and then trying to tell that story in 2 hours, maybe 2.5. These days you can stretch it a little bit, but still, you have to compress your storytelling majorly, and you have to find ways to make things fit for that format. So there's a lot of criticism over where he wasn't true to the. I don't know. I've never read it. I don't know if you ever.
I haven't either. No,
I've looked at the artwork and it's interesting, but
yeah, that's definitely I heard. That's why I think the movie is such beautiful movie is because he tried to mirror the artwork that was in the book.
Yeah.
So yeah, once you see it, I think you'll be able to see that it's a decently done piece.
I'm glad that we're at a period where, in order to get, as much as I just talked about having to adapt things for film, there's certain things that you can be true to. Mm-hmm. And mostly in the past, when we saw like a Superman or a Spider-Man or a Batman, there's a lot of ways in which they took this comic book thing and toned it down, right? This is a feature film. It's not a comic book. We're not going to have sound effects like appearing on the screen. It's not going to be.
It's not a Batman.
Super bright colors and stuff like that. Yeah, but like Batman did that in order as a gag. Mm-hmm. Aren't comic books funny? This is all ridiculous, kind of thing. But if you wanted to make a serious film about a guy in a cape, well, you got to make it as serious as possible. But now Thor is a very bright, fabulous. Just the space scenes in the Guardians of the Galaxy. None of that looks like space. No, space doesn't look like that.
No, not that beautiful.
That's what it looked like to Jack Kirby in the 1960s from the Fantastic Four comic books when they went out into space, and that's exactly what they were modeling. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's partly because of the special effects technology that we can enjoy this, or maybe it's just because we're willing to stretch our minds a little bit and experience a fantasy world. It doesn't have to look like Star Wars and Star Trek takes place on different planets, different or galaxies and all this shit.
Right.
But everything looks
far, far away.
But space looks recognizable everywhere they go, right?
To the most part,
mostly black, bunch of dots.
Right.
It's fucking space.
And then the newest alliteration of it is all the particles. You get to see everything high def now.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that Guardians of the Galaxy looks real. Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Yes. I think that's it. It's like, let's not worry about what a real galaxy looks like when you're living it. Let's just do what looks great. What is visually stunning. It's called design.
Well,
right?
Well, that's just an example of another, type of director that's not afraid to get the product that he knows that it needs to look like. James Gunn. He's a great director.
Right. I think he gets criticized for starting from a visual place and working your way backwards from there. And if the plot suffers a little bit here and there, well, suffering in the name of beauty, essentially. Does all of Fifth Element make sense structurally as a plot? Not really.
Yeah,
but
you
get your general. You get the gist: damsel in distress, hero, reluctant hero. Evil guy that's ultimately being manipulated by a higher evil being. These are some classic tropes, and it's just a structure to play with a lot of visually crazy things. Spaceships, aliens,
super crazy things.
Experiment with what what does the future look like? What are other planets look like? What will the melding of these cultures look like? That was a lot of what Fifth Element was about.
Right.
It was just mind fantasy. It was just a lot of what if. And yeah, you had enough of a structure, of a plot, and a dynamic, a love story to hang that all on to keep the story going. But I think ultimately it was just like, let's play.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right? And that seems like from your description what Valerian is too. Let's let our imaginations go wild with what we can do with film. You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, directors of the past would get lauded for that. You know, you look at, you would call it surreal or Dadaistic film. You know, reflecting maybe the art of the times, like artists like Salvador Dali that were making things that just looked like complete nonsense, fever dreams or acid flashbacks. But it didn't have to make sense. It was just, it's just for the sake of the visual, right? Much like abstract art. I don't know, I'm really going off on a tangent now.
No, you're talking about great movies, so that makes sense.
But who does this again?
Deep Purple. Space. What the fuck is space trucking?
Keep on trucking, man.
El Camino. Space.
Space trucking.
Well, what have you seen recently? What can we talk about that? Because I'm pretty much up on everything now, and I don't want to spoil anything.
Well, we had talked about The Punisher.
Okay, so you have seen The Punisher.
I've seen most of it, yes.
I've seen most of it.
I need to see the end of it.
I watched all of it. I went and saw Justice League the other day.
Nice. That I'd probably...
I've seen the first 3 episodes of Runaways. Or The Runaways.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
Just Runaways. You're familiar with that?
No, not at all.
The HBO show that Marvel did, it's based on... It's very true, well, as far as I can tell. I didn't read the original comic books, but... that was kind of in the 90s period.
Oh, okay.
Where I was doing other things. How's that Slurpee?
Yeah.
Delicious.
Sound like it's Mikey.
So the Rock and Rye gets the seal of approval?
Oh, yeah.
Does it just taste like straight up Rock and Rye?
Yeah.
They get the flavor
Slurpee
right?
form.
I mean, I guess, I don't know.
That shouldn't be too
it's not
hard.
Like there's
liquid.
magic to it, right?
Yeah.
They just take the syrup and they process it in a different way.
Right.
No, so The Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
The Punisher, I'm just going to say it. It's the best of the Netflix Marvel shows so far.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're
down.
going that far.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it better than the first season of Daredevil. I enjoyed it better than Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. It was certainly far better than
Iron Fist.
Fist and Defenders. It was... I think you only have like 1 or 2 episodes to go.
Yeah.
The last 2 are doozies, man.
That's what I heard.
So we won't even talk about how that storyline wraps up between... I mean, the bigger storyline is Frank Castle versus, this shady arm of the CIA that was involved in drug smuggling and murders and whatnot. And we also find out that they were responsible for the death of his family.
Mm-hmm.
So this is his big revenge story. But there's also the subplot of the Marine who comes home with the PTSD. And
yeah, that's a big part of the
digs
show.
a foxhole in his backyard, doesn't know how to cope, gets angry, lashes out at another vet, and ends up killing him in a fight. That tips him over the edge.
Right.
And I was like, this is fucking Marvel. Like, Marvel owns the Punisher. Marvel says what you can do with the Punisher. Mm-hmm. They own that property, and they said, yeah, go ahead. Because it's all there. I mean, the violent gun battles of people, dying in horrific ways.
Mm-hmm. Definitely,
like decapitations, just straight up shotguns to the face. I mean, this was like the Dread movie.
The Punisher is not just a clever name.
I wouldn't say it's the most violent Punisher that's ever been on film.
That's interesting. I know that I've seen them all, but what do you think would be the more violent?
My most favorite Warzone. With Ray. Whoa.
Did you guys lose your headphones?
No. Go on.
Oh, that's Rob. Hello?
No.
No, it's definitely your mic.
Yeah, I know, right?
Check. That sounded like something actually failing internally in the mic.
But no, I think the most violent of all Punisher, like film / series is the Warzone Punisher.
Yeah,
Ray White or Ray Stevenson, or I'm trying to think of the name of the actor. Let me look it up here.
I don't recall.
But he looked kind of like the Ray Bradstreet is the name, the artist that did a lot of the Punisher stuff.
Oh, okay.
He looks a lot like that character that he drew.
Interesting.
I'm gonna pull it up here.
So that one got more violent because
there was this moment where the Punisher actually shoves a chair leg through a dude's skull. And I was like, holy shit. And the best part is this movie's directed by a woman, and everyone was like, oh my god, a woman made this?
Oh, right.
Which shouldn't be Ray Stevenson.
Isn't he a comedian?
Don't look, Ethel! No, that's Ray Stevens.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Right. I mean, first episode in this Punisher series was...
Oh, very good.
It's a bit of a slow boil, but by the time they get to the end, Punisher bashes in a bunch of skulls with a sledgehammer. They set the tone really well in this show. They let you know what you're going to be in for. And then they still manage to have a few, kind of shocking moments. And even some shocking... There's a decent amount of sex scenes in here. Some of them, they get pretty raw.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I'm in love with that agent. That female agent. What's her name? God damn it. Madani. Yeah.
I think, honestly, they showed her name for a second printed on a report, and I swear to God it was Mondani.
Mondani, yeah.
But everybody calls her Madani.
Yeah.
Madani.
Madani? Is that like Madonna's brother?
Get out of here. You don't belong here.
Madonna's twin brother.
Yeah.
She's growing up in Michigan.
She is super hot. Totally in love with her eyes. I also think that she is the weakest of the cast members.
Really?
I think she is the least able to she's the worst actor. I'm not going to mince words. She's the weakest link in that whole cast.
See, I thought
that's a pretty strong cast. And
what was it? The worst actor was the guy that got killed off by Billy Russo, the one that got stabbed in the middle of that police raid. Yeah, that was the worst actor. I was actually happy that guy got it.
You're talking about the guy who had the prostitute?
No, the one that called him pretty, Billy Russo pretty. He was the Madani's sub agent or whatever, the backup guy.
Oh yeah, the beard guy.
Yeah, that guy.
The weird beard guy.
Yeah, the one that was.
You didn't like him?
Yeah, I didn't like him from the get-go.
I don't know. I thought he did an all right job. Neither of them as a team, though, really wowed me.
Yeah, they make a good way of making the government look bad.
Right. They were like Keystone cops, bumbling through this thing and constantly being on the defensive, too.
Mm-hmm.
They were just reacting to everything that was happening around them. They could never get ahead of what was actually going on. So I don't know. I mean, I just think it was poor casting. She had the same concerned face for every conversation. But okay,
I cared.
I'll stop playing. I cared, damn it. Ultimately, while there were a few missteps, I thought I didn't quite see the leap from the guy stabbing one Marine, stabbing the vet in the argument. And then he builds a bomb.
Oh, yeah. That was crazy.
And I wasn't a big fan of how that episode starts out. They pay it off by the end of it. And in the larger story, I think it fits in really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And this was 13 episodes. There's no padding in here. there's not a lot of lingering shots and restating the plot and having people like. Sure, there's a lot of conversations happening, but it's all necessary shit. They keep the story moving. They manage to weave everything together nicely. It never drags. May have stumbled here and there a little bit, but overall, no complaints story-wise. That's part. I mean, that on top of John Bernthal's performance is just captivating. The guy who played Micro was really great.
Yeah, that was a good story too with the family and that.
Yeah,
and the kid being a bully, and you find out why. And that was really great.
That was another thing. There were no throwaway characters in there.
Right.
They made good use of their time by developing everyone. Hey, we have time to tell the story of what happens to the son and daughter of the guy who disappears for a year. Not just the wife. These aren't just throwaway characters to add suspense or somebody else that can get kidnapped or lost and raise tension. They were fully developed characters that had their own storyline and had their own resolution of it as well. We saw the resolution of Micro and his family, of Frank. Only thing left out in the wind, though, Karen Page.
Yeah.
Why didn't they wrap that up?
That I don't know.
She gets weird. Sucked into this thing deep, but then by the time they wrap up I guess they only had her tied into the bomber story. And once they wrapped up the bomber story, they were done with Karen Page.
Which is stupid because she's a great, part of the universe.
But I think maybe what they were trying to balance was Frank had to have a relationship with Micro's family as well. And maybe Karen Page hanging out, looking sexy, would get in the way of that story.
Yeah, sure does enough of that in Daredevil.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, the tightest, best performed Marvel TV show that I've seen so far, even outside of the Netflix stuff.
And better than most of the movies. The Dolph Lundgren, Tom, what's his name? Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
That was a crap movie, too.
No, the director, the writer, and John Bernthal, you really feel like they understand this character.
I'd say they could almost do a movie at that point.
There's a lot of things like...
You would let them?
Certain things stood out that may have seemed like maybe pandering or just too obvious of a character choice, like, I don't like hipsters. And there's some talk about liberals in there at some point. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of it. It's hard to make a show about a guy who shoots up people not for a living, for a fucking passion, right?
Oh, revenge mostly.
Right. But it's hard to do that these days and not at least address the issue politically. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely there, but it's not. A lot of it's left as subtext. It's not really talked about much. But yeah, there was definitely an idea of portraying him as a right winger, right?
Well, they tried to, yeah.
He was not a fan of liberals and hipsters and all that and peaceniks. I mean, he was a fucking Marine.
Mm-hmm.
And
Marine. Point, shoot.
Right. But they also went out of their way to make sure that, he didn't have a problem with minorities either.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Especially with his buddy, the guy that was doing all the rehab on the vets.
Yep.
At the church. That was a great character too.
They didn't go into the stereotypes, I felt like. I can't say because I don't have that close enough experience with somebody who's been to war. I imagine that they, if not had somebody consulting on this, they talked to some vets.
I'm sure, yeah.
They couldn't have pulled that shit out of their ass. That seemed too real, what the experiences. And maybe it's kind of a no-brainer to think, well, yeah, what happens to a person when they see their friends die, they kill people, and they have to live with that shit and act like everything's normal. I think a lot of that stuff that you can guess at, like what types of dreams and anxiety that you would have.
You're right.
You can imagine, but it seemed like they were pulling from a lot of real experience.
What the fuck is this?
It's called Call a Marine.
Yeah, this definitely doesn't fit with what we're talking about.
So, yeah, I mean, am I making sense? They wanted to make a decision. They didn't waffle on who he was as a character.
Right.
But they didn't politicize it either. And they didn't stereotype the character. He wasn't he wasn't just a redneck that was, really into guns.
Right.
Even the way that they handle, because part of the reason that the PTSD guy makes the bombs and causes all this chaos, part of the reason for him existing in this story is to have the reader kind of decide, or the watcher, I should say. Now it sounds like we're the Watchers in the Marvel Universe. Those guys
Who watches the Watchmen?
Right. No, that's the DC.
Oh, damn it.
No, never mind. We're to decide what differentiates Frank Castle from the bomber, right? The guy who takes innocent lives. And there's definitely, there's a decision that if he's just dealing with somebody who's a grunt, a policeman, if they're getting in his way and trying to arrest him, he's not looking to kill those people, right?
Right.
He has specific people that he thinks should die, and it's not like anybody who gets in his way gets a bullet. There are decisions that he makes. And I think it's important, if you're to have sympathy for this character and go along this journey with him, to understand where those limits are for Frank Castle as a person. To understand what drives him.
Yeah, but I just one thing I wanted to say about the Punisher, the series that just came out. I used to read a lot of the comic book when I was a kid. For some reason, it was.
I was never huge on him, but I've read some. I've read enough.
Right, but it was just like, I think they did the character well. Like, they explained the reason why he is the way he is because of his wife and the children being killed by the mob, and not the mob in this series, but.
That's what I was going to ask, because you're also, you like continuity. You like your origin stories to remain fairly pure. And this was kind of a major shift from, where you get the same results, you get the same type of character.
Right.
The fact that in the comic books it was definitely a mob shootout.
Yeah, and he was a New York cop. And he wasn't a Marine.
Right, and his family got caught in the crossfire. And in this case, he's a Marine. There's some shit that he gets wrapped up in that ends up killing his family, Yeah.
Well, that's how they could, use it to tie into the government thing.
Yeah, I have no complaints here. So you had no problem with them kind of rejiggering that story to fit.
Well, it worked,
It did work. That's ultimately what it comes down to, doesn't it?
The writing did
Right. You can break the character a little bit if you make it work the right way. But if you're just doing it to do it.
Yeah, it won't work if you try to force it.
Right. It does seem like a natural progression for that character. Certainly allowed him to tell a deeper story.
Yeah, a lot deeper story. It made Frank more human, which kind of dropped people around.
Right,
too.
because his story is all about war. Right? Even though the original he was a cop, and cops don't go to war.
Right. War over his family. That was his pure focus.
But he takes on his own war.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to tell, and they successfully did tell without preaching, a story about war in general. Like, you kind of have to differentiate between, if you think that Frank Castle has morals, but he's still ultimately wrong because he's taking the law into his own hands, well, then how do you feel about war in general, and how does that differentiate from the point and shoot guy, right?
Yeah.
The Marine as a weapon, just taking commands from somebody else.
Yeah. Well, like we've hit it back and forth over and over. It's just, I think it was the great acting. When I go back and look at it, it was the acting that made that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob.
What up?
Is Aaron okay?
What's Aaron dying from?
Listen.
Wait, before we do that, sorry, let me recover real quick. I know you didn't see it. I'll do a completely spoiler-free review of the Justice League movie.
All right.
Fucking thing sucks!
Well, it's been getting some bad reviews. It doesn't seem not as bad as previous, like Suicide Squad or Batman v Superman got reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at times an awkward movie. But the times where it does get things right, it gets them so right, it's kind of worth it. I enjoyed it. Overall, enjoyable film.
Wow.
What's it rated?
It's
41%.
41 with the critics, but the audience, 83. The audience is more than double the critics.
That's kind of interesting. I mean, I know there's a campaign to see the original cut, the original Zack Snyder cut. Because if you don't know the background of this movie, this is Zack Snyder who did Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, 300. What was the other big one that he did?
Watchmen.
Oh yeah, Watchmen, of course. And he had to.
Danny Elfman did the music, huh?
Yeah. The music is actually pretty nifty. I mean, it's nothing. Danny Elfman isn't breaking any ground, but the way that
Danny fucking Elfman.
But the way that he sneaks the themes in, like you get a taste of the original Batman theme from the Tim Burton movie.
The Keys. Oh man,
my favorite one.
Yeah, and it fucking works. So the soundtrack's one of the highlights of it, I think. Gal Gadot is certainly a highlight. She doesn't get as much to do in this, of course, but this is bringing the team together.
She's hot.
If you like shots of her ass and feel like they didn't have enough of them in the Wonder Woman film, you'll be happy.
There's plenty.
There's plenty. Her skirt gets a little. You get to see not just a little, like, I don't know what you call it. It's not a skirt, really. You know, the kind of Roman style thing that she wears. There's shots that are like kind of from underneath where you see her quote unquote panties.
Jesus.
I mean, she's wearing some modest underwear, but
is this supposed to be a kid movie or?
Yeah.
Damn.
No, it looks great. The way that everybody is kind of filmed up close, and it just makes everybody look larger than life. Okay. The way that the movie is set up at the beginning, I was totally for it. They seem to want to tell a story of why we need superheroes, right? That's what they set up. I don't know if they come to a conclusion at the end of the movie, but that's certainly what they set up, and I was game for that story.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I talked so long.
Talk the joint out.
So what else can I say without spoiling any of the plot? It certainly had a lot of criticism for the less than perfect digital effects. I definitely saw it, and it was weird. And, you know, me and one other person in the theater laughed when we saw the shot of Henry Cavill's upper lip. Where he's doing. Have you seen the shot that's going around the internet? No. Where he's smiling?
No.
Oh, show that to Rob. You haven't seen this, Rob?
No. I haven't searched anything out, quite honestly.
Just look up Henry Cavill, and I bet you'll find a still.
The movie doesn't intrigue my interest.
Henry Cavill mustache?
Yeah, go with mustache. Well, no, because he doesn't have a mustache. See, the thing is, he had to do reshoots, and he was contracted for another movie with Paramount.
Oh, okay.
That required it. There, it's the first one. Right there. He kind of looks like John Travolta in that, doesn't he?
Hey, what's up, guys?
They had to digitally...
The guys doing Superman.
They had to digitally take out his mustache.
Superman Justice League.
So the effects, some of them, yeah, it's subpar.
Right.
But overall, the movie still looks great. And I think there's one scene in particular that you would find really fun. Is when, I mean, it's no spoiler to say that Superman comes back in this movie.
Yeah, they spoiled that like.
It's just a question of how.
Yeah.
Do you want that spoiled, or would you rather?
You can spoil it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because here's the movie in a nutshell. I'll just tell you the part about how they get Superman back, and this will kind of tell you everything that you need to know about Justice League. The MacGuffin in the movie is the mother boxes. You get all three of them together, it allows Steppenwolf to open the portal or something like that, or terraform Earth into Apocalypse or whatever.
Okay.
And so the Justice League has one of the mother boxes, and they're going to use it to bring Superman back to life because, you know, he's just kind of laying dormant in there, and he just needs like a shock. Right? He's not rotting.
Give him the paddles.
Right. So in order to do that, they go to some special. There's some pool that was like inside of his ship.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
So they decide that they put him in that, and then use the mother box to shock him awake, that he'll come back to life. Right.
Yeah.
But they can't generate enough power, so the Flash has to like run really fast and then touch the box like the second before it hits the water, or at the same time or something. Damn, more Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to talk with
right, that's what I'm trying to listen to you, and I hear motherfucker every 5 seconds.
This is all from the one movie?
This is every Samuel L. Jackson motherfucker ever.
Yeah, anytime you let you.
Oh, there's a lot of them in fucking Pulp Fiction.
So that happens to motherfucker.
So they use one of the MacGuffin boxes to zap him awake, and it works. He comes back to life, and Flash makes a joke about, is he going to come back normal, or is it going to be like Pet Cemetery? And
like evil?
Right, and he comes back Pet Cemetery, like not quite right.
Okay.
And just has this like blank look in his face.
He has a mustache.
And they're all standing there, like Wonder Woman's like, Clark, Kal-El, listen to me, we're your friends. And he just like blasts into her with the I-beams.
Oh, nice.
And then just takes everybody out.
That's what I would expect from Superman.
Like just straight up. And does that... Superman, when he fights best, he does it with his chest out first, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't fly at you like pointed like he does to the sky. He just like straight up like...
Chest bumps you?
Yeah, it's kind of like a chest bump. Like he does that. Like he rushes at people like that.
That's an interesting attack.
And it's just like...
Motherfuckerly.
Hold the knife out. Chest bump me, motherfucker.
There's a part...
The knife will bend.
No, Krypton.
He's got Aquaman, Cyborg, and Wonder Woman all like on him at once, and he's holding them off.
Yeah.
They're all like trying to hold his arms down or something.
Yeah.
And Flash comes running by him, and they do the whole like slow motion thing.
Yeah.
And as he's zipping past Superman just stops. He kind of breaks from his, like everyone looks frozen.
Yeah.
When he's running. But Superman turns his head and looks at the Flash, and the Flash is like, "Oh fuck, he can see me!"
Right,
like he can track him.
Right.
So there are great moments.
Give your ass for this shit. This is some fucked up repugnant shit.
Poor Darth L. Jackson. It was that scene where they brought Superman back. It was so dumb the way they got him to that point, but the scene after was as good as the last scene of Rogue One, where Darth Vader just kicks ass.
You hear me? What? Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker.
He's joking
Say what
him.
one more goddamn time. Superfly TNT. I'm the guns of the Navarone. You the motherfucker should be on brain detail. A tasty burger.
Darth Vader, only you could be so bold. The Imperial Senate will not sit still for this. When they hear you've attacked a
But why don't
diplomat...
we leapfrog all that bullshit? Save ourselves a lot of aggravation, of which there's close to zero.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to...
Don't give me attitude. Get the fuck out my face with that shit.
Holding her is dangerous. Word of this gets out, it could generate sympathy for the rebellion in the Senate.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. Please, continue.
She'll die before she'll tell you anything.
Yeah, Negro. That's all you had to say.
Lord Vader, evacuation plans are not aboard this ship, and no transmissions were made. An escape pod was jettisoned during the fight. No life forms were aboard.
Whatever you find, you bring it to me. I don't need to tell you to be careful.
Yes, sir.
Don't try to frighten us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader. Your sad devotion to that ancient religion has not helped you conjure up the stolen data tapes, or given you clairvoyance enough to find the rebels' hidden fort.
He starts choking him out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Jesus. Jesus.
Enough of this. Man, this ain't none of your goddamn business.
Vega, release him.
Motherfucker. Cool in the game. You know, we don't want to fuck your shit up. Man, knows what to do.
Oh, this is the famous scene where he talks to Princess Leia.
I've been doing this
in the
for a
cell.
while, so I know all kinds of neat little interrogation tricks. You know, good cop, bad cop, reverse psychology, stare down contest, threats.
Now this one actually matches up to the situation.
Yeah. A little hovering ball with a needle on it.
And the butts.
Chef's great.
Hold on to your butts. That was great.
Did I break your concentration? That fit really well too.
That did, and they timed it perfectly too. Like he starts choking him out, and then a beat.
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Did I break your concentration?" That was the part where he shoots the guy on the couch.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, it's Darth L. Jackson. Look it up.
That was too much, man. All right, what are we smoking? This stuff's loopy.
This is a classic. Chris, hit me with some 80s music.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
You put your weed in there.
Sure. I put this kind of weed in it.
What drugs are you on?
The California Orange is that strain we're smoking today. That's what we're smoking. All right. This is California Orange we are smoking.
Give us pool party music?
Is a old school classic.
Bowie.
Dating back to at least 1980. As such, is there a great deal of mystery surrounding its origin. It's generally accepted to be a 50-50 indica-dominant hybrid. It is quite easy to grow. It produces sweet citrus aroma reminiscent of orange zest, also known as Cali Orange Bud, COB, and it's also available from the Dutch Passion as California Orange. In a feminized seed form, this hybrid has found its way through the globe, and it's a favorite with many growers. Most users report that California Orange produces an upbeat, clear high when consumed in moderation, which heavier dosing can lead to much more indica-type body feeling. So, you know, if you don't want that hit.
Like we've been doing? Heavy dosing?
But the top 5 effects are happy, uplifted, euphoric, relaxed, and hungry. And the medical, definitely a pain help. This is a reducer of stress, insomnia, depression, and lack of appetite, which I think most pot or marijuana, does. But yeah,
that's a fair enough statement. Although there's definitely varying degrees of the munchies that I get. I don't think I've ever encountered one where I'm like, nah, I'm all set for snacks.
I've never encountered that. Never.
No, I don't want Doritos.
It's like where you want to make a dinner, like a whole meal.
Oh, dude, I got Thanksgiving leftovers upstairs. They're fucking toast after we're done.
Nice.
There's going to be nothing left in that container. Oh.
Next song.
Should we go old school?
What is this? This is nice.
No idea.
Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
This is some straight up old like R&B or something. Oh yeah. Some soul music. Harold, what are they? Harold
Melvin and the Blue Notes. Oh, look at this. Look at those ties. The big floppy bow ties.
Bow tie?
I feel like Kanye's already sampled this song or something. Huh?
I'm assuming yes.
Yeah, this is already a Jay-Z beat somewhere.
Probably used for American Gangster at one point.
Yeah, they do got that old school look. Although this sounds more like, I would guess 70s by the production quality.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this song.
I can't survive, can't stay alive.
Oh man, I think there's even disco-y version of this that somebody did, like Gloria Gaynor or somebody like that.
I can't exist.
Makes sense.
I don't know if I've ever heard this version. What's this song called again?
Don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way.
Man, I got a new favorite jam.
Broken man.
I've been listening to Bee Gees more lately. Thelma Houston is credited as
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And you know that.
Yep.
Now this was a common thing back in the 70s, men and women singing the same.
Writer Barry, Paul Michael, Taylor Mark. No, I have to say Paul Michael Barry, Mark Taylor, and Brian Rawlings are the writers. And I wonder if that's there's no Harold and Melvin in there, but yeah, Thelma Houston I think is the one that I know. But this is I like this version.
It's pretty good.
Hey, Teddy Pendergrass did this. Big Teddy or Little Teddy?
Don't leave me this way. Don't you understand? I'm at your command. Oh, baby, please, please. Don't leave me this way. Hey, don't leave me this way.
All right, we won't.
You heard him.
Yeah. This makes me think of disco night at the Nectarine.
That sounds like a fun place.
I used to go there. It was Wednesday. You'd get in for free if you dressed up. So, put on some bell bottoms, some white collar shirt.
Nice.
Dude, there's something about disco music that loosens up the women, I'm telling you.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
One of these guys do you think that is? The guy up front? This guy?
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Harold Melvin does not sound like a familiar artist. I don't know that I've heard anything else.
Melvin.
I need your loving, baby. See, your love. Your love. Well, your love is so important.
Hey, this is released the year I was born. 1975. This is from the album Wake Up Everybody.
Thelma Houston's release.
Wait a minute, this is Wake Up Everybody has featuring Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy did his own version of this song and appeared on this album. This is trivia for you.
I need you. You asked me.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a cape was involved at the end of this song.
Yeah, I think
comes
so.
off stage. It's a cape on this dude.
Or a shirt. He's just standing there, shirtless, dancing in front of the crowd. Like a Marvin Gaye.
I don't think no, these guys stayed pretty
Close.
casually
Yeah,
dressed.
those suits cost money. You're staying in them the whole gig.
Sweating their asses off.
See where I don't want you to go. See, I love you. You can't go.
Teddy, isn't it?
Will you stay with me?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like him, but like I said, I don't know enough Teddy Pendergrass, and I've never heard Harold Melvin before. Like, maybe he was the band leader, and maybe that was Teddy Pendergrass. Somebody threw threw a shoe at a baby during Black Friday.
What the fuck? I would punch that person in the face.
Wait a minute. I don't know if
Maybe it was an asshole baby. We need to hear the story.
No, there's no such thing as asshole babies.
You never know.
The baby shouldn't mouth off to me.
Yeah, dude. I told
Get your baby in check.
That baby had a warning.
That toddler is eyeballing me.
Fuck your child. Wow. Sorry.
Easy,
was
Roy.
too far.
Probably the guy at Black Friday sales mowing down little kids.
Get your kid out of my way.
No, don't play the video.
Don't play the video.
Don't play that either.
Yeah, don't play anything.
Let's hear it.
Ooh, baby, baby.
Let's see, whoever plays where did this happen at?
We're all seeing her in the hat. You know that, right? I didn't play the video.
Alabama mall.
Alabama.
Violent incident occurred.
Shocking in Alabama, huh?
Shopper accidentally threw a shoe at a baby.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, you were aiming for somebody else?
Baby.
How do you accidentally throw a shoe, period, much less at a baby?
Oh, that's a good question.
This was Thursday night, Thanksgiving night. Half a dozen officers were called to River Chase Galleria in Birmingham, Alabama. There's several fights reported at the mall. And one baby gets a shoe to the face, and then several fights break out. That makes sense.
What a baby!
Look at that baby. Get that baby out of here before somebody hits it with a shoe.
Yeah, that's what he was trying to do. Make sure to get the baby out.
Hey, baby needs to take some lessons from George Bush.
Right? I know, right?
Get the baby out.
That is very underestimated.
That is like
how he dodged that shoe, man.
Yeah,
like
he was
that's
good.
pretty. He's got some dexterity.
But I like how you talk about it
movement.
like that's the peak of his presidency. Like, man, yeah, the guy might have been crazy and he couldn't talk for.
I love how he stared him down after the shoe was thrown.
Yeah.
He just stared the motherfucker down like, really? You're gonna do that to me? Okay, play this party. Check these guys; they're about to kill you.
That was the most competent he ever was. You're like, ha.
Yeah, just
see that shit.
Yeah, like he ducked it and juked it. Like he's in a football game.
It's like,
here we go.
It's like Muhammad Ali.
He's shaking. You know, everything's going copacetic.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What up? Oh yeah, two.
That's the second one.
You got a third? You got a third one?
Yeah, bitch.
People just started scrambling.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit. The president.
Some of those people were like, some guy started speaking a foreign language and yelling, and I was like, I'm out.
What happened to the good old days?
Yeah, I'm gone.
And what happened to the good old days of those kind of attacks of terrorism?
When it was just shoes?
Just shoes.
You know, this is post 9/11, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
They took everything from him when he went to go in the room. That's why he threw his shoes.
Hoover police officers separated two girls who were fighting and treated them for minor injuries. According to the statement, fight didn't start because of holiday sales, police said. Stephanie Means said on Facebook, a witness told her someone threw a shoe over a railing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh. Welcome to America.
So what the fuck started it then?
I want to see a baby get hit in the shoe.
No, you're not
There
going
better
to
be a payoff.
It's not really a payoff.
I don't know. You know, it seems like one person was quoted as saying that a shoe went over a railing and it hit a baby. So that was the headline that everyone ran. Looks like we're going to get to vote on recreational marijuana in Michigan next year.
Nice.
For realsies?
Ballot committee proposing to legalize the use of marijuana for recreational purposes set to submit more than 360,000 voter signatures. So I think that gives them well over the number that they need. Basically, because, you know, they need a certain amount of signatures, and so they go over that. Because they know that somebody's going to go through and try and strike out 20% of them. So they get like double the amount that they need.
Nice.
I don't know. You think the state did go for Trump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we also voted in medical marijuana.
That's true. We've had a medical marijuana program for a while. Do you think we're ready for recreational? I don't know.
I'd say yes. That's just because I really want it to happen.
But another thing to consider, everybody that's going to be voting on any kind of medical or recreational marijuana program in 2018 is going to be tied in with the midterm elections that everybody is looking forward to. And a lot of people are going to be out voting on just trying to either keep the conservative majority in power or destroy that majority. So how that works for cannabis, I don't know. I guess it depends on who decides to make that one of their issues.
Well, I'll be playing that song that day. Send anyone the free MP3 download.
So we'll see.
Yahoo?
Thank you for downloading the Weezen Podcast for free from Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or from ChristopherMedia.net, and wherever you listen to the Weezen Podcast. Please be sure to rate and review the Weezen Podcast. 5 stars. Please, thank you.
Please.
Yes. You can follow the Weezen Podcast on the Twitter at the Weezen420 and on the Instagram,
the Weezen Podcast.
Make sure to like and share the Weezen Podcast on the Facebook. You can send your email to podcast at ChristopherMedia.net, which is where you go to listen to all of the other shows available from the Christopher Media Network. New podcast is uploaded almost every day. Why don't you check out World Championship Radio?
Hopefully bringing out a new show.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
We've been gone for a couple of days. 1/3 of you was on vacation.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully by the time this show posts, you'll really have a show that's 2 days old.
Hopefully.
The new episode available is every week at ChristopherMedia.net. You can listen to free news podcasts uploaded to the Christopher Media Network on our streaming station 24/7 live. ChristopherMedia.net. It's Christmas time. I mean, right? Black Friday.
Yeah.
A baby got punched. Well, if there's a shoe thrown at it.
Which amuses you greatly.
So it's on. Hey, you know how you don't get a shoe thrown at your baby? You use Amazon. You go to ChristopherMedia.net, you bookmark the Amazon link. No babies will have a shoe thrown at them. You get what you need. We get a little something off the top or the bottom. Probably the bottom.
I think
what do you think
out of the middle. It's like
out
Jenga. They take
Yeah.
the half penny right out of the center of the stack.
There you go. And there's also a donate button if you're feeling generous because it's the holiday season.
Please give.
If you'd like to help support the Weezen Podcast. Hey, another thing that you could do is you go to, there's a brobasket.com banner there.
Mm-hmm.
Click on
that
it.
up.
Use it. Give me a little piece.
You know, holidays, that's alcohol. It's fueling the holidays most of the time.
Fueled my Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Because, you know, sometimes you see that uncle that you just don't want to deal with anymore. But, you know, you always think it's a hard time to get him a gift. Well, now you don't have to worry about that. ProBasket.com will provide you with any kind of liquor that your uncle loves. Or your other bro, your real bro.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's hard to buy him
actual
gifts.
brother.
Yes, your true brother.
Yes.
Blood relation. But, yeah. They
Not just some black dude that you're overly familiar with.
Yeah, you could be friends with him too and get him a bro basket. We don't discriminate here. But yep, they beer, scotch, wine, whiskey, anything I'm sure alcohol related. The bro basket can fit into a basket for your bro. Just go check them out. Click through the link on the Christopher Media website, and it'll help us support. Help us out. We need it. It's the time of the season to give. Let's go, people. I love you, though. And I want you all to stay high.
Stay high.
Stay high.
If you like this show, please tell a friend.
Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook by searching for Christopher Media. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
It's a new year, and with T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are. It's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right, the iPhone 12 on us on every plan. All on America's 5G leader in coverage. T-Mobile.
With 24 monthly bill credits and a new line plus tax. If you cancel, credit stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.
It's a new year, and with T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are. It's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right, the iPhone 12 on us on every plan. All on America's 5G leader in coverage. T-Mobile.
With 24 monthly bill credits and a new line plus tax. If you cancel, credit stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.